Had a really good football game on Saturday. Pleased with how the guys responded, especially in the fourth quarter. It was going to be a four-quarter game after we kind of went back and forth a little bit in the first half and saw how physical it was going to be, and I knew it was going to be that type of game. And so as we talked on Saturday, I thought it was a good game for us, game that we needed to play for four quarters and be challenged like that, and made a few plays down the stretch and pleased with the win, and came out of it relatively healthy. And so I'm excited about going on the road for the last time in the regular season and going to Missouri State and look for a heck of a game down there. So on to the next one in the Valley.
Chris, what's your running back situation as far as health, Bruce? And
yeah, we're hopeful that we'll get more out of Bruce. He played the first quarter, I believe, somewhere in there, 8-10 plays, and felt really good. And then we knew it was going to get fatigued, but he thought he could go, and so he gave us a few snaps. But I think now he didn't re-injure. We just pulled him out. I think he'll be able to give us more. Seth was pretty close to going, and maybe could have gone. Now we're kind of in that 4-game rule with him in my mind, and in talking to Coach Mess and Seth, and so we elected to hold off another week, and hopefully he'll be able to give us some this week. Ty would be the one that would maybe be questionable. He tweaked his ankle again, and he could go, but we're banged up a little bit there. But we're going to go through this week and see which guys can give us the most. We'll probably take quite a few running backs with us.
Has Cofield done any more in your mind?
Yes, absolutely. He really has, and I just thought Lance, in talking to Mess, Lance was really running well, and he wanted to continue to feed Lance in the fourth quarter when it was really tight, but we talked at length. I'm really pleased with Adam, and Adam's going to, I think, see some more significant time based on Bruce.
Chris, how do you address the guys knowing what you mentioned to us on Saturday, everything in front of you, that you can cinch everything up with the conference on Saturday?
Well, I think it's really important that we continue to improve in all three phases and to go on the road. And it says something to go undefeated on the road in the Valley. And that's something that we're going to talk about today with our guys of having the opportunity to go 4-0 on the road in the Valley. Doesn't happen very often. Our guys have a chance to do that, and we have to play really well. We can't assume anything is over with. We can't assume we're just going to walk out there and win. We're going to get beat if we do. They beat a good Illinois State team at home. They play better at home than they have on the road. And I'm looking forward to a really good game. Plus, it's senior day, and there's a lot of emotions with that. And so we have to continue to focus on our play and our preparation on a daily basis. If we do that, we have a chance to be successful. If we take shortcuts and all of a sudden flounder around out there on Tuesday and Wednesday and don't have good days of preparation, we won't be ready to go.
Did they do something differently with the quarterback run game to stop Easton? It didn't seem like he was able to get a lot going in that game.
Yeah, they did a lot of stunts inside with their defensive tackles that we really had a difficult time picking up, Mike. And those two kids are really good players, and they played well on Saturday. And that was the biggest issue we had was blocking those two interior guys. And then the kid that's always been a really good football player for him, I'm a big fan of, his number 42. I mean, he's all over the field. I mean, he runs things down. He plays so hard. He's played in a national championship game. He's just a competitive guy that he's fun to watch.
Valuable is a game like that for your team with the expectations you guys have for the rest of your season to have a good battle like that?
Well, it's important because we're going to find out an awful lot about where we're at physical-wise. I mean, we're going to have some guys sore and beat up, and we haven't been sore and beat up since early October. So we're going to have some guys that played 65, 70 snaps that are going to be beat up to see how they respond, as well as just the adversity you face. You're up 7-0. We have a punt blocked, and they have it first and goal, and we're able to keep them from scoring. And then they score and tie it at 7, and in the fourth quarter, and our offense marches it right down and gets a big score to answer that, and then we get a big stop and get the field goal. And so all those things I thought will help our team moving forward if we learn from the adversity that we faced and continue to strive to get better, because we have to continue to improve.
Noticeably physically better on Saturday, I think, than all season. Have you noticed a progression in his quick twitch? Is that from even week one?
Yeah, no, I think he's getting stronger for sure. I also know that there's a number of sets where they're trying to chip and double him. I think they're in an empty set, but it's really not empty. They got a back or a tight end right off the edge of where Greg's at. They did the same thing with Tuska a little bit. It opens up some things for Stanley and Caleb. But no, I thought Greg was really excited about playing this one. He knows how big this game is every year. He missed it last year, but he was on the trip with us last year, and it was once he knew it was going to be a quarterback run game, the kid was going to hang on to it. He was going to make some plays.
Is the team feeling the effects of that early bye week, or is that just kind of a non-factor at this point in the season anyway?
Well, you were going to play 8 in a row. We just happened to play 10 in a row once it's all said and done. And obviously there's definitely some fatigue, probably as much mentally as there is physically. We're aware of that as coaches. We talk about it a lot. We talk to the captains. I give them a big voice, the captains, because I trust all 6 guys. They're going to tell me how their bodies feel. We've cut some things back. Kramer's done some things in the weight room from a maintenance schedule-wise rather than in getting their bodies back. We feed them on Tuesday night a really good meal after practice and stuff. So, and we're conscious of it, but, it's a grind for everybody. It doesn't matter what level you're at in football. It's a grind for everybody, and we have to, we see the finish line, but we've got a lot of work to do before we can get to that finish line.
Things that you do to try to combat the mental fatigue?
Oh, cut things down on time more than anything, just being out there, out at practice. We have more meeting times, a little bit more walkthrough times. We try to get up and move around a little bit in between walkthroughs and meetings, but you're not out there on the field as much. And then, the guys just taking care of their bodies, getting an extra cold tub, hot tub, getting an extra stem or massage just to try to ease their mind a little bit. And but they also know a lot of these older kids, they've been through the grind before. They know that what are we on, week 10 now? I mean, they know that what's in front of them.
Teams in the committee's top 10 lost on Saturday. We talk about it every year, but there's tremendous parity. How has this group been able to avoid that?
Well, we talk about it a lot. I mean, we're not going to shy away from it. And we talked in the summer when I had dinner with the seniors. These guys thought they had a chance to have a special football team. And obviously our number one goal has always been to win the Missouri Valley Conference and never get ahead of yourself. Don't ever take an opportunity to play for granted. And you look at a lot of seniors that have lost playing time due to injuries. They're never looking at, boy, we have senior game 2 weeks from now, or boy, potentially the playoffs are going to start after Thanksgiving or whatever. Our focus is going to be on Missouri State, just like last week it was on Youngstown State. Does it guarantee a victory? No, but I know that they're keeping all those freshmen, sophomores engaged all week long to say we've got to play our best football to have an opportunity, and anybody can beat anybody. And we've got some great juniors that have played a lot of football as well. So you combine the seniors and the juniors, they're on a mission.
Chris, what do you think about your defense getting off the field? 32% of the time teams are only completing on third down, 50% on fourth down. What's been
Well, we've been really good on fourth down. We talk about the turnover margin and all those fourth downs that we get off the field early in the game, which was key when they went for it on the 4th and 1. That's a turnover because the 3 points maybe would have been a factor late in the game, but that's a turnover. Obviously, the one at the end of the half when they lost track of the downs, that's a turnover. But we've talked at length for years about field goals won't beat you. Be stout in the red zone, bend but don't break. If somebody makes a play and they made a couple of nice plays, you have to forget about it and move on to the next one. And that's what I was pleased. You take Jalen Allison out of that lineup on Saturday, a fifth-year senior that's been through everything, and you throw Josh Hayes in there. And I thought Josh Hayes played really well. Even when he gave up a play, he came back, forgot about that play, and then made a really nice tackle on the 3rd and 10 that created 4th and 1 to keep him out of the end zone. And I really appreciated how Josh competed.
Seen anything like that? Accidentally clocked it out?
Absolutely. And I understand. I mean, do you think it's a first down? You're thinking you have the first down, or is it going to be measured, whatever it may be? I mean, it's not easy. You talk about it, and the other thing is the crowd's a factor there. The crowd is what did as much as anything, because I'm sure from the sideline they're screaming, we got to, run a play, and he's up there trying to spike it, whether he thought it was first down or fourth down, trying to get the clock stopped. Well, when the crowd's that loud, we're screaming out things as well, and you can't hear anything. So I've definitely seen it. It's happened to us.
Is there a situation where what is a coach? Can you call for a measurement? I mean, or is that not a decision? I mean, can you ask for it? I mean, I know that's
You can ask for it, but they're going to make the decision.
How does Missouri State's quarterback compare with some of the dual threats you've seen this year?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a really tough kid. He's played an awful lot of football for him. He's another one of the guys that we talked in the beginning of the season that had a returning institution that had a returning quarterback, and they're running him an awful lot. He's run the true option a bunch, and he likes to keep it. And he's a really good thrower. They run a lot of the RPOs, so we have to do a great job of reading our keys, because the linemen are going to be downfield and you think it's run, and all of a sudden the ball is going to be thrown past you and you're on that borderline of, are they quote illegally downfield or not? We know it's not going to get called. It's just what it is. That's college football now. So you have to be able to read your keys, and you have to be able to keep your focus, because I think he's a really mature guy that understands their offense well.
Continue to have very little concern with Cam Peterson.
No, Cam will be fine. I mean, he'll be fine. He's fourth-year senior. He'll be all right.
Missouri State's playing well. What are they doing well?
Offensively or defensively, or offensively, this goes with the quarterback. When he's playing well, they're a really good team, and he makes them go, and they're an up-tempo team, so it's all about rhythm, similar to South Dakota. If they get a first down, they're going to get back on the ball and try to get you where you're misaligned or you don't get the call, and it's a speed offense trying to get you confused. And then on defense, I think their front four and their linebackers are really active, and they run really well. They're experienced guys. The linebackers are back. We had a hard time with them early in the game last year. They're physical, really, really fast athletes, and so it's got to be clicking together, obviously. And last week it didn't for them, but as I'll caution the guys, it didn't for Youngstown against Indiana State, and we got their best shot, and I'm sure we're going to get Missouri State's best shot.
Particularly irritated on the Brock Robbins call, the block below the waist.
Yeah.
Is that something you've had a chance to go back and look at, and you feel like that's how you've blocked it forever?
It's a 50-50 call, and I've got great respect for the official in that case, because he and I talked, and I've talked to all of them. It's a hard call for those guys. It really is, and sometimes it depends on how the defensive player lands. I don't think we would have told Brock anything different as far as his target line and stuff. And I feel bad for the officials, to be honest with you, because I think it's a really hard call to make. You could have let it go, and Bo might have been upset, or you could have called it, and I would have been upset. And that's the thing. That's a tough play on the officials.
Chris, for the younger guys like Babich and Watson that had chances on Saturday, do you throw them right back into the mix this week to make another play? How do you normally go about that?
You have to. You try to correct it, where it's hand placement, some of those things like that, and stacking them when they have them beat and different things. But you have to. I mean, they're young guys. In Easton probably made a mistake as a redshirt freshman, and I'm glad we didn't bench him, kept him playing, give him an opportunity. And they feel awful. I understand that. And but we've had older kids miss a tackle and stuff, or miss an interception. And so it's part of growing. It's part of the maturity process. But I've seen them do it enough in practice against our players, against good players, that maybe it's one of those cases that that's going to help them down the road.
So what does it mean for Darius and Jabril to go back into their home state and play against Missouri State?
I think it'll be a lot of fun for all our kids from Missouri, the Kansas City area. There'll be a lot of people down there. It's a shorter trip for them, and I'm excited because it gets them a chance to see all their family members, and gives us as coaches that recruited all those guys to get back down there to see. Maybe we've seen a mom or a dad, but not a brother or a sister and stuff. So it's always fun to go down there.
8 in a row, Chris. Can you take 30 seconds, or can you take a few seconds to look at the big picture of 8 in a row?
I wish I did. Wish I would, but I probably won't until end of the season. But I know, Jeff, that in this league to say that's pretty remarkable. with the parity that we all talk about and we all know. And it's not like there's a bunch of teams blowing everybody out and it's just an elite group and then there's a first tier, second tier. It really is. We've seen it all year long that teams that you'd say, well, that game should go to this team, it doesn't. Or that game should be a blowout, and it's not. It's tremendous amount of respect for the coaches and the players in this league, and a special group of seniors that we have, though.
A unique situation to be able to clinch before even the season's out. You talk about your goal. You always pitch that it's win the Valley. How do you kind of go into that? After that, you've got a game left if you have achieved that already.
That's why you have 24 seniors and 6 captains that will not allow it. And it's true. I mean, we cannot rest and think that we have a bye or a home field or whatever. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't think anybody. We can all speculate on things. I don't know how it's going to play out. So you better take care of your business. You better make sure that you control your destiny and you control what you can control. And that's what we talk about all the time is control what you can control, the variables you have, attack each day, and find a way to be your best on Saturday against Missouri State, and we'll see what happens. And we cannot look ahead. If we do, guys, I promise you we will lose this game. If we look ahead, we will get beat.
More promising seeing, undefeated, a 0 in the loss column compared with how much the Valley teams have been beating themselves up?
Say that again.
Just with how much parity it is, there's that big gap between you and second place.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. We've played well, and I take that to on the road. We've won a couple of really tough games on the road that have tripped up people, and we've held serve at home. And everybody talks about you should be able to win at home. Well, we've had two of our toughest games at home because people are getting used to the environment maybe at home. And then on the road, it's hard to go to Western Illinois. We played one of our best football games at Western Illinois. It's hard to go to Northern Iowa. Our guys were really focused that game. So you have to. I can credit the assistant coaches for doing a phenomenal job, but I look at those 6 captains that we have and all those upperclassmen. Just watching those guys, and Matt Larson's on the road with us. He watches those guys. I mean, you talk about a locked-in group of guys that are challenging each other every day, all day long about, hey, you got to be your best, and talking about the game plan. And there's not a lot. We have fun and laugh and stuff, but when it's time to lock in, our guys lock in.
Backs, is that Clark too? You taking him?
We'll probably take Sabian just because I don't know if I'll be able to give anybody a definitive answer on Seth or Bruce by the time Saturday gets here. I also have concern if it's going to be 40 degrees and we got hamstring guys.
Chris, you started hitting Missouri more over the last few years. How much has that opened up now, especially with the success you have with Darius and Jabril, like you mentioned, to get back into that state going forward?
Yeah, we'll continue to recruit down there, similar to we will Florida. I mean, it's an area we're going to try to find 2 or 3 guys each year. It's not immediately in our footprint, but with the success that some of the guys have had, whether it's you could date back to Brian Shepard from Kansas City and Matt Plank from Kansas City, we've had some good players from down there, and then those kids go back home and say, shoot, this is a good place. And now we're getting on the Missouri side with Blue Springs with Shep and the Raytown area with the Cox brothers. It's good football down there, and with all the TV coverage and social media and stuff, you can hear and find out a lot more about NDSU.
Paying attention to a 4-game thing with Jasir Cox? No.
Did you check out the rankings last week, the top 10?
I did. What were the rankings? Were we first?
You were first.
How about that?
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
That though?
No. I assumed we were going to be first, but I couldn't tell you who was second or who was 10th. But I think it'll probably change.